2024 Chicago Open continues our Friday of action as we try and make our way to the AVP League. Coming up in 2 weeks' time, we'll have 2 champions crowned on Sunday who will automatically qualify for an entire fall of play as we are in the Midwest capital of beach volleyball at the top of Michigan Avenue, the beautiful skyline of Chicago, our site for this event. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn. Rich, finally we get Olympic silver medalist back. Brandie Wilkerson with Melissa Humana-Paredes. They took a little extra time after the Olympic Games.
Well, they went on a festival across the world, deservedly so, celebrating their silver medal from Paris. We had a question in Manhattan Beach, how were the Olympians going to perform? I think they all did very, very well. This is see the silver medalists back on the sand, so that's our question today. How are they going to perform after a little bit of a layoff?
Yeah, and what do you think was special about them in the Olympic Games and them as a partnership?
Yeah, I think they just put it all together. You know, the pieces were always there. They're kind of the dream team for Canada, right? Best blocker, best defender playing together. Their vibe on the court is, I think, as good as any team in the world, just kind of what they have together as a partnership. And when they put all those pieces together consistently, they're very, very difficult to defeat. And that's kind of what we saw in Paris.
All right, they're going to take the center stand alongside Piper Ferch and Molly Shaw on the other side of the net. Let's get ready for this women's matchup. Mark Sherman is down on the sand. The fans are in the stands, and we're ready to go.
And we are all set for our next match, match number 5. This is match number 1 for these 2 teams on Stadium Court. And let's meet them, shall we? Yes, this team teaming up for the very first time in the Heritage Series. They were together in Virginia Beach. They trained together down in Hermosa. And this first player, the Mustang at a Cal Poly Slow out of Redmond, Washington. Yes, it is you. It is Piper Ferch. And her partner out of Naperville, Illinois. Welcome home. Welcome. Do we have any Naperville people out here? Chicago people? There. We got a few. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. Let me hear it for your hometown gal. She is Molly Shaw. And their opponents, ladies and gentlemen, just represented their home country of Canada in the Olympic Games, and they came away with a silver medal. This first player, oh my gosh, yes. She is the smiling assassin, absolutely deadly. She shows the world what she does, and we're happy to have her in Chicago. Let me hear it from Melissa Humana-Paredes. And her partner, known and loved wherever she goes, the swagger, the athleticism, the style, she's got it all, everybody. She is the one, the only Brandie Wilkerson. On the sand for the first time since Paris, Brandie and Mel, their Chicago journey begins right now.
Could easily be the silent assassins, smiling assassins, the 2 of them. Melissa Humana-Paredes and Brandie Wilkerson, that silver medal. And of course, in the knockout round, took out Taryn Cloth and Kristen Nuss. That was a tough matchup for both of those teams in that particular round of the Olympic Games.
Yeah, that was the matchup we saw in the final of the Huntington Beach AVP.
Let's go!
Minor problem. First side out goes to Molly Shaw, the Naperville, Illinois native. Hotbed of volleyball talent, Naperville.
Is that where you're from?
Keith Barnett's from there.
Keith Barnett's from there.
Sean Rooney from nearby Wheaton, right next door. Olympic gold medalist in 2008. That ball put away on top of the net by Piper Ferch, who still has 1 year remaining at Cal Poly Slow. Had quite a run in Manhattan Beach alongside Lindsay Sparks. We saw him on Stadium Court defeat Kylie DeBerg and Haley Harward, if you were with us a couple of weeks ago. There's that option game, and I talked to Ferch and Shaw right before this match, and they said, we're going to go at Mel first. I said, well, what about the option game? Well, we're going to hope to serve Mel deep enough to negate that. How do you like that as a plan, Rich? The deep serve to try and negate options.
Yeah, I like that. I like serving middle just maybe a little bit more. But that deep serve is an interesting tactic because it kind of backs up the receiver, right? And so they're a little bit off sort of their normal comfort level, so to speak. And it makes it a little bit more difficult to shovel that ball up just the way you'd like it for your partner. So we'll see how it plays out.
Brandie Wilkerson, wind in her face, got the first ace, second one finds the net. Jump serve could be very effective from this side as the day wears on. A solid wind blowing in off the lake. Ferch back to serve with the wind at her back. She goes jump serve, and that is well wide.
As her is checking the spot, just out of bounds wide.
Yeah, even though that was out, you see she's got some pretty good pop on that ball.
Bell working on Shaw. And finding it wrist down. Or thumb down, wrist away. It could be wrist down.
Wrist down. Yeah, we had a big discussion about that in our last match, the term wrist away. There seem to be people that don't like that. I invited Annie and all of them to come get some.
As always, you're welcome to come and tell me that I'm wrong. Just do it in person.
That's right.
Again, working on Mel. And picking up the block is Ferch. There's a true point. 5-3.
Really nice positioning from Ferch there. You can see her make this big move into the angle. Just good discipline with the hands, taking away that soft shot attempt.
Ferch at 5'10", out of Redmond, Washington. Volleyball history, her dad playing the 91 Pan Ams as that serve is an ace, and both teams serving aggressively early. Formerly Molly Turner, Molly Shaw now, married to James Shaw, also out here on tour. A little top spin on that one, trying to utilize the wind. Oh, Shaw, good spot, back set. Ball handled by Humana-Paredes and put away underneath the block.
That's a really good swing. I'm not sure how Molly was able to dig that so perfectly off the left shoulder. A spinning shoulder dig, but it's so far from Shaw and Ferch, a lot of good defense. I like their serving strategy, as you mentioned.
Going after Mel?
Well, you talked about the deep one, but that opened up like the ace we saw a couple points ago with the short middle serve, causing a little bit of confusion. Yeah, there's a little bit of creativity as well.
The sponsor. As long as you set it over in line with your body, don't pull the ball across your body, this is legal.
Yeah, it's always a little bit of a judgment call. Yeah, you see.
There's a little twist to that, was there not?
No, I don't think anybody's ever fully squared the entire time and set it over, because that's kind of a dead giveaway.
That's the pass interference call of beach volleyball right there. That ball pushed outside to the pin, tight to the net. Here's Wilkerson in return. Left-handed, chipping off the block and out of bounds. Point for the Canadians.
Yeah, her physicality just wins out in that transaction there.
Mel back to serve, Brandie at the net. Ferch and Shaw qualified by the 5th place finish at Virginia Beach. Both have been on kind of a partner odyssey this summer, getting back together for this one. Ferch too tight to the net, and Brandie Wilkerson takes advantage. They said their plan was also to move the offense across the net to try and get out from in front of Brandie.
Yeah, you certainly can't remain static against the likes of Brandie Wilkerson at the net. I mean, we know that she is probably the most physical blocker on the AVP Tour, if not worldwide.
That ball snapped deep, a little bit long.
3 straight. For the Olympic silver medalists, we're tied.
And here come the Canadians, 7-7. Mel and Brandie, a host of good finishes in the last little while. Of course, that second at the Olympic Games, the Elite 16 in Ostrava, second there. Won our Huntington Beach Heritage Series event to open the AVP season back in May. They've been in a host of finals, but so far this year, checking in at 1 and 3 in finals. Here comes an opportunity. Wilkerson, right side. And it terminates again. This is why you don't serve Brandie Wilkerson.
Well, yeah, Melissa has such beautiful hands as well, just always setting the ball pretty perfectly. It's been kind of a hallmark of her game for a long time, all the way going back to playing with Sarah Pavin, used to setting the lefties.
Mel, of course, also from a volleyball family, her father playing. A lot of second-generation players as that ball sneaks underneath Brandie Wilkerson.
You're afraid of the claw.
That's the I almost had it.
Yeah.
Double claws. Option taken there, even from deep. That was a fairly deep pass, and Brandie hitting from 6 or 8 feet off the net.
Yeah, I love that good aggressive approach, though. And, you know, I mean, everything looks like it's going to coil to uncoil, right? And she just goes smooth over the top. Great range.
Ferch, bad pass, and it's an ace.
Yeah, I think she was a little bit unsure whether that was going to be in or not. Pretty deep serve from Brandie.
So far, we've seen the top seeds do quite well this morning. In fact, all of them have advanced in their first round match. This is the first match for these pairs. Big, huge block, straight back on Ferch.
I like the mindset of staying aggressive. You have to against Brandie, but this is kind of what can happen if she gets those paws in front of you.
I'm trying to think of a better vertical jumper than Brandie I've seen out on the sand, and I mean without steps.
Yeah.
Just from a standing jump.
Yeah, I don't know.
Super physical in that manner.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that you'd find one.
And then you add in the lefty weirdness.
Yeah, got a little bit of an unorthodox arm swing even for a lefty. But yeah, at 5'10", we almost consider her undersized as a blocker, but that explosive athleticism more than makes up for any size disparity.
Yeah, it's funny you say that 5'10", because I think of Brandie as like a 6'1" or a 6'2" player. In general, if you ask me how tall she was without looking at a sheet of paper,
right,
I'd say 6'1", 6'2".
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because I would probably be in that same category. But yeah, 5'10".
5'10" high flyer, and flying high in this first set, 12-9. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson over the top of Ferch and Shaw. Mentioned the AVP League. That is 9 weeks of play coming up in the fall, starting in 2 weeks' time in Los Angeles. You can attend any one of the 9 events. Go ahead on avp.com and check on the schedule and plan your fall touch of summer, wherever it may be. And certainly you want to join us here. We're going to determine who will be in. This is the last opportunity for anyone to score points. You're going to want to get in via your points or a victory. Melissa Humana-Paredes and Brandie Wilkerson already qualified.
Yeah, Cam and I were talking about this last match. You'd like to see a 5 or a 6 or better next to your name to feel comfortable, because there are a couple wild cards in play. You know, this is a huge tournament, because you see kind of those teams near the bottom of that list really vying to get themselves in that solid yellow.
There's going to be 1 male, 1 female team in each city. The Dallas Dream, the Brooklyn Blaze, the Miami Mayhem. It's a lot of alliteration for the team. Should be exciting times. And I know there's a lot of conversation yesterday surrounding how are you going to treat the team aspect of it. They were asking some of the individual athletes, because it's going to be a 4-person team, 1 women's pairing, 1 men's pairing. And how you're going to cheer for each other. Your results depend on their results. It's going to be exciting times. That ball just picked up off the sand and then put away by Wilkerson. Showing the power. How about a little bit of craft?
Now, this is a lot of what we saw from her in that Olympic final as well, right? Very, very dialed in offensively when she had her opportunities.
Well, that contact is so crisp, you can hear it. Mel serving down the middle. Way off the net, Ferch takes a swing. Humana-Paredes in transition, nobody up, and that ball's put away right in front of Shaw.
I like that, the little baby middle shot. It was a pretty good swing from Ferch from a good distance off the net. Made Mel and Brandie work for it at the very least.
Ferch and Shaw, part of that youth movement. Shaw a little bit further ahead. Came out of Grand Canyon University in their sand program there. Now Ferch still in college, and I asked her what's the difference out here, and she said, listen, I've been playing against people who've been out here playing professionally for years. You talk about Brandie Wilkerson, it's been 12 years as a pro.
Yeah.
It's just a different level.
Yeah, and that right there is something you don't see a lot of in college, I don't imagine. Somebody set up in the angle, reaching back to your line and just smothering that swing attempt.
Another bad pass, and it's another ace for Melissa Humana-Paredes. A dominant lead now by 7 in set number 1. Kevin Barnett alongside Olympic gold medalist Rich Lamborn as we watch the Olympic silver medalists make their AVP return.
And they're really serving the ball well. Got off to a little bit of maybe a slow start. We'll call it a really nice start from Shaw and Ferch.
Brandie again displaying her athleticism, picking that one up and then putting it away. All the positive talk over there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, right? Just the vibe they have on their side of the net is so positive and so kind of constructive, I think.
Brandie with some excellent tracking of that ball over the top of her that time.
That's one of the harder moves to make in the sport, I think, as a blocker, to be up and then kind of know you're going to have to land and turn and go somewhere.
So we had rain overnight into the morning here in Chicago. We're expecting good weather the rest of the weekend, but when the sand gets wet, how does that change the game and who benefits?
That's an interesting question, because there's a couple ways to look at it from my perspective. Sometimes I think when the sand gets a little bit more packed, that benefits some of the smaller teams in that they don't have to contend with the deep sand as much, so they can be a little bit more physical. But if you're a physical player, that heightens your abilities as well, right? So does it really help or does it not? You know, I think it's a pretty level playing field no matter what the conditions. I think it does tend to help the smaller teams because it allows them to do maybe some more physical things, take swings from further off the net, so forth.
So if you're already a taller, big jumping player, then you're Arnold Schwarzenegger to everyone else's Lou Ferrigno. Yeah, this sand makes you better, but I am also better.
Right, that's right. That's right. If we just had some more packed sand, it would be better for you. But then I'd be better also.
There's that variation in offense, and it does work. Moving to the right side and then cutting it back for Piper Ferch. Shaw, a little side serve to Humana-Paredes, and she will return the favor. Exact same move, inside out of the ball.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned their intent to serve Mel deep. I don't know that we've seen a lot of that. Now, granted, they've run into a little bit of a buzzsaw. Mel and Brandie been on kind of a roll here through the middle stages of this set and have a pretty big lead. But it's interesting how oftentimes you go into a game, or go into a match rather, with a game plan, and then you kind of lose your way a little bit.
Well, per your buzzsaw comment, as another ace is served up. They're hitting 643, Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson. And now in the ace department, that is their 4th.
Yeah, it's so vital, don't you think, that whatever opportunities you have, you are able to stick to what your game plan is going in, right? Yeah, that was a jarring miss for you, Kev.
Well, it looked like that sand snake that we had in Manhattan Beach may have grabbed the toe of Brandie Wilkerson.
It's gone from the far corner to the near side.
Yeah. Well, apparently traveled in some sand. I didn't realize we imported sand snakes here to Chicago. Didn't know if they're native. I figured they wouldn't survive the winter. Option, and the crowd loves it. set point and another efficient performance by one of the top seeds. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson come in as the number 3 here in Chicago. Looking to close out set 1. Successful side out. We'll have a second set point. Option not taken. Back to Mel. Opportunity for Shaw. Shaw with the option. Brandie quickly there in front of her. Mel from way off the net, and that'll do it. Not the prettiest end to what was a competitive rally, but an efficient first set performance, 21-12. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson.
Yeah, a little bit of a slow start, but they really caught fire and imposed their will very strongly in that one.
Second set action on the way. Continued women's side volleyball from Chicago. The AVP Chicago Open is brought to you by Rainstorm Clean Energy. Great flavor, zero sugar.
Yeah, baby, that is right. It is time. Ladies and gentlemen, I could not be happier to be right here, right now. We're in Austin, Dallas, Texas, San Diego. Get involved and have a reaction out here. Stay right there, purple shirt. Very nice.
Always fun with Mark Sherman and the crowd here in Chicago. Our skyball competition. Where's Superman when you need him?
Yeah, he really showed up in Manhattan Beach, didn't he?
He did. He hit some incredible sky balls at the end, really. Sean Rosenthal, a longtime AVP pro, legend Olympian himself. And I love that Betsy Flint, in the midst of a hugely important match, came out and passed the last sky ball.
That was
Bravo, Betsy.
I guess this is why people are so enamored with this particular skill, because it appears to be incredibly difficult, and it is.
Final 2 of round 1 are going right now. Final 2.
This is kind of like you've heard people theorize that it would be funny to have just an average citizen participate in every event in the Olympics for frame of reference as to how great all those athletes are doing.
There we go.
It is out there. This is kind of what we're getting from the skyball competition.
I remember when we were in Colorado Springs training with the national team, and people would find out, Gen Pop people would find out that we were training there. Oh, my buddy plays volleyball. Can he come out and try out? Yeah, send him over.
Yeah.
Send him over. We'll put him out there for a little bit. All right, let's take a look back at our last set point. Wilkerson and Humana-Paredes closing it out. 21-12 was the final score. But this is our Wilson play of the day. I believe we had a knuckle contact to knuckle contact in the middle of this one. There's knuckles to knuckles right there. And this amazed me, Rich. Watch Brandie speed along the net. Finally, a clean opportunity for Humana-Paredes, and she closed it out. That was the end of set 1, and we are underway now in set 2 after our Wilson play of the day. Ferch and Shaw 1-0. Molly Shaw at the line. Shaw can't quite get under that one. Originally cut from her indoor team, decided to take up beach. Took her all the way to GCU from suburban Chicago, and then on to the Pro Tour. That ball is long.
Yeah, there's really kind of a fine line. You want to keep it away from the net enough to be out of the jaws of Brandie Wilkerson, but you got to keep it close enough that your partner can get a good whack on it.
Ferch goes high. Did she get a touch? No touch. Back-to-back errors. I feel like there's always a ton of pressure when you're playing one of these top seeds, one of these incredibly talented teams, to be consistent, and that many times results in a lot of errors.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, in my mind, largely what separates the top teams from kind of that next tier is the ability to be consistent in the execution of their skills, because everybody can play out here, right? And then what tends to happen, you make a couple hitting errors, Brandie puts the house up over you on that ball, and then you start to press. You start to think you need to be a little bit too perfect, and mistakes can kind of start to compound.
Yeah, too perfect is the enemy. I agree with you there. Yeah, to be clear about the level here, Ferch and Shaw getting handled for the moment into that first set, but if they come to your local beach, they'll wipe up anybody you're normally playing against.
Right, right. Yeah, it's always interesting, you know, I think you kind of mentioned it on that play of the day, right? Was it a competitive rally or was it a high-level rally? You know, like oftentimes we'll see competitive matches between evenly matched teams and think that this is high level. Not necessarily the case. It can be the case, right? Where you see the difference is when you come and play the Olympic silver medalists. That's a high-level team, and all of a sudden I'm a little less competitive than I'm used to being.
5-2 second set. Top seeds have been advancing all day in the winner's bracket here in Chicago. Mel, clean opportunity. Far outside to the left, a little bit too much. That knuckler is going to be wide, so another error will create 6-2.
I think somebody accidentally bumped the NOS tanks on Brandie's wrists on that set. Shot it way outside the antenna. Mel doing a nice job just to keep it in play. So important, right? If the opportunity isn't there, your toss isn't great on the serve, the set's not there for you, don't try and be a hero. Keep it in play, reset. Trust your block and defense.
If you had a Fast and the Furious tie-in for today, go ahead and collect your money.
That's right.
That ball scooped up, nearly put over. Crowd starting to fill in. Should be an exciting Chicago Open throughout 3 days of play. I hope a lot of you are taking a long weekend here on Labor Day. It's become a tradition here in Chicago, going back to 1984, and the AVP's first trip to the Windy City.
If you live your life a quarter mile at a time, come join us at the end of the magnificent mile here at Oak Street Beach.
Rich will be playing the role of Vin Diesel. That ball put away, and the offense of Brandie Wilkerson continues to be frighteningly efficient. Wilkerson hitting over 800. Their plan was to get to Melissa Humana-Paredes, and you would say by the stats they have, she's only hitting 200. The problem is, on the other side, .030 is not going to be enough offense. Oh. The pokey winner from Shaw.
It's interesting when you see somebody that's so dialed in offensively and it looks so effortless. It's hard to even imagine them getting stopped. How would you go about stopping Brandie when she's in this mode? Who knows?
Oh yeah, you try to keep the ball away from her, but then there's that option game. She did not take it there. Instead, Mel stays with it, goes off the cable and out of bounds. 8-4. Melissa Humana-Paredes continues to struggle offensively, but the scoreboard is the scoreboard. Canadians up. There's the option and success.
Yeah, it's really impressive too, the ball control that goes into that play from Melissa Humana-Paredes. Getting to that shorter serve, getting it up high so Brandie can take a look. Even on kind of free balls that come over, you notice that she passes the ball pretty high up close to the net to give her partner that option.
So Brandie is now 11 of 12 on the match. There's a nice shot to the deep corner.
We're taking the side switch 9-5.
9-5, Ferch and Shaw hanging tough, certainly within striking distance here in the second. We have 3 courts of action. Jordan Hoppe, David Wyzorek, the Chicago native, playing against Benish and Partain, the number 2 seed. That's number 2 taking on number 15. Benish and Partain with the early lead there. Billy Allen and Paul Lotman against Triborn and Ryan Wilcox in the other one. One of those other exciting teams, Triborn and Ryan Wilcox. They're up 7-3 on Allen and Lotman. They're at the number 10 seed. Came Shulk and James Shaw, the other very interesting men's team that I'd like to see on Stadium Court. Another straight down kill for Wilkerson.
It's like if you have a friend that gets a little too overserved on a Saturday night and everyone goes, you know what, it's best to just stay away from him when he's in this mode. I feel like that's kind of how it is with Brandie right now. Just keep it off of her because she's just annihilating everything.
Find any way to stay away from her. Yeah.
Ivor Ferch for 6.
There's the Mel we know.
A really good turn across the body. A little bit of a lower set that time. Again, I haven't seen too much of the deep serving going into Mel.
It seemed like they started to try and work her short and deep.
Well, the short is great. It's even better if you can accompany it with some deep.
Way off the net, and we'll get just enough of the cable. Ferch with the kill. I'd like to see them get some confidence on their side, some roll, some enthusiasm. They're pretty quiet at 11-7, very much in this set.
Yeah, it's an interesting kind of duality of mentalities on the side, on the sides, right? Mel and Brandie just have to convince themselves to keep the throttle down. It seems like only a matter of time until they close this one out, but then Shaw has to, Shaw and Ferch, excuse me, have to convince themselves to put the throttle down, like you're saying. Get some enthusiasm.
Yeah, like a little fire,
yeah,
and have some fun. Tough when you're getting some server's pressure put on you. Where is that ball? Is it in? Just long. I'm not sure if Mel laid off that one on purpose or if it just exceeded her reach.
As she clutched at her necklace, like I think she felt lucky to have missed that one.
13-7. That ball hit through the block, and the technical timeout will happen at 14-7. The number 3 seed solidly in control in their first match back on the AVP. The last time we saw them on the AVP was pre-Olympics. It was back in May as everyone was prepping for Paris. And Mel and Brandie, they dominated in Huntington.
Grab your surfboard, come to Huntington Beach, California to check out the world's best beach volleyball players. It's time for the women's final. Melissa Humana-Paredes and Brandie Wilkerson playing against Taryn Cloth and Kristen Nuss. She waited. Good defensive alignment, pay it off. Blocking your right. Chicken wing. Taryn Cloth putting on a show. High back set. You better reach back to back for Taryn Cloth. Looking for number 3. You better cut around her. Out of bounds. They flip the script. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson, the Huntington Beach champs.
Not only did they pick up the victory, but automatic qualification into the league. Cloth and Nuss on the receiving end of that loss later, rebounded in Manhattan Beach. So both of those teams who are in that final in Huntington Beach are guaranteed to be in the AVP League 2 weeks from today.
Yeah, and that was nice as it turned out. Gave them a little bit of that breathing room to go on their victory parade after the goings on in Paris.
Will we get a rematch between those two teams is the question. And who else is going to get in there? Therese Ken and Megan Kraft. They've had a good season. Rodriguez and Urango had a really nice run in Manhattan Beach.
Yeah, they certainly did.
What better way to spend a Friday afternoon on Labor Day than right on the waters of Lake Michigan, the still warm lake waters, before it turns to winter. Brandie, that one goes right through her hands. Ferch still swinging.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, we talk about what do they need to do. A little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of fire on their side, but certainly they have to maintain their aggressiveness. There's no tentative way out of a rut, Kevin Barnett.
No, there is no tentative way. You can't push, tip, roll your way to a championship.
Hammering your high hands, Melissa for 5-8.
Mel with the kill there. 15-8. Good control. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson winners 21-12 in that first set on the strength of offense and serving. They had 4 aces in that first set. Not to mention the blocking of Wilkerson, which is
16-8.
not only effective with the block, but now it appears to be in the psyche.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are all kinds of points that should get an asterisk to the block that aren't actually blocks on a stat sheet, right? That you'll never see.
Second time going to that well doesn't work. Melissa Humana-Paredes chases it down. How about another defensive effort? No shot right to the line.
I love this from Mel and Brandie, though, that they're still giving it everything they've got, even with this 16-9 lead in the second set. That's what you like to see.
There's a little Michael Jordan hold the hand up.
Just hold it up there. Michael Jordan, a little Wesley Snipes. I'm just going to leave it up there.
Back set high and killed by Wilkerson. Yeah, I'm with you, Rich. She looks just unstoppable.
Unstoppable. I mean, we had the perfect vantage point on that one from our booth up here. Just right over the top with ease.
Never mind the Predator-esque hair at the moment.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. She's getting a heat map readout of where the defenders are and able to avoid them.
Listen, there's no stopping what can't be stopped, okay? Everyone knows that.
Touch, got the line. What a swing. 10-17.
That ball is right on the line. 17-10. Feel like the moment is now for Shaw and Ferch. Have to make a move. Can they put a little service pressure on the Canadians? Well, they're running to the pin almost a little too far for Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson.
Yeah, it's so interesting because we've talked about how sort of in the zone Brandie is. I would say realistically, there's a little bit of rust on sort of the offensive side of Mel.
Okay.
Not on her specifically, but just kind of that connection there. Like you said, some of those sets have been a little bit too far.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Is it the setting or is it Mel right now, or you think it's a combination of both?
I think it's a little bit of a combination. You know, been away from the game for a little bit. It takes a little bit of time to get your footing under you.
That error is now 19-10, so it's looking like our number 3 seed will advance. Looking down our brackets, both in Nuss against Simo and Van Winkle in round 2. Cannon and Kraft will take on Flint and Scholes. If you follow these teams, that ball is wide from Mel. DeBerg and Harward, Cheng and Hughes. The winner of this one looks like it will be Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson. They will face off with Rodriguez and Urango or Bauer and Rice. Ferch gonna go jumper into the wind. Like the aggression, the result not quite there, and that will be now a match point opportunity for the Canadians. Brandie will serve and block. Back set, nobody up, and it's wide. That'll do it. 21-12, 21-11. Humana-Paredes and Wilkerson triumphant in the first round of their return to the AVP.
Yeah, they looked pretty good. I mean, particularly Brandie offensively, unstoppable. And if they can maintain that kind of form throughout the rest of this tournament, they are going to be difficult to deal with.
A lot of highlights in this one from Wilkerson and Humana-Paredes, particularly Wilkerson. What an outstanding match. Unstoppable offensively, missing just one opportunity and also blocking a ton of balls. That, along with 4 aces in the opening frame, has them easily advancing.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate for Shaw and Ferch. It's not like they played poorly. They just kind of got themselves in a situation where they had to press, and that almost never equals good results for you when you're pushing.
Yeah, you said it early on. Sometimes you run into the buzzsaw. In this case, the smiling, happy buzzsaw that is more than happy to take you out. We are at the top of Michigan Avenue, and next we will head off to the men's side. Field runner Trevor Crabb make their second appearance on Stadium against Allison and Corey. We're looking forward to that. Stadium Court, as we continue to carry you through a Friday on Valley Live as the AVP Chicago Open bounces on.